Hi, hello, good morning to all. Welcome to KU Pathshala. Myself, SK SYAM from Department of Linguistics, University of Kerala. So, in the last class, we had discussed certain topics like what is language, what is the difference between speech and hearing, use and definitions of language, the design features of language by Hockett, the main properties of language, etc. Today, I will discuss the topic linguistics. So, let's get started. So, let me begin with this section by asking you some questions. First question: what do you mean by the term philology? Second question: what do you mean by the term linguistics? Third question: what is the difference between philology and linguistics? So, in the last class, I had mentioned about linguistics. So, what is philology? So, the branch of knowledge that deals with the structure, historical development, and relationships of a language or languages is called philology. Philology is the study of language in oral and written historical sources. We can say that philology is the humanistic study of historical linguistics, while linguistics is the scientific study of languages. Philology is more commonly defined as the study of literary texts as well as oral and written records, the establishment of their authenticity and their original form, and the determination of their meaning. A person who pursues this kind of study is known as a philologist. The word philology is an older, more traditional name for the academic discipline that is now generally known as historical linguistics. So now we shall move on to linguistics. I have already talked about linguistics as scientific study of languages. Linguistics is a word which seems very much pronounced to misinterpretation. In this discipline, we will study language in a scientific and systematic way. The word linguistics is derived from two Latin words, lingua and istics. Meaning of lingua is tongue and istics is knowledge or science. It has an important impact on diverse fields like sociology, anthropology, psychology, philosophy, computer science, speech science, etc. So it is not surprising that in recent years, one of the fastest expanding branches of knowledge has been linguistics, that is, the scientific study of languages. There are various questions that linguistics tries to answer. What is language? How does language work? It probes into various aspects of these problems, such as what do all languages have in common? What range of variation is found among languages? How does human language differ from animal communication? How does a child learn to speak? How does one write down and analyze an unwritten language? Why do languages change? What extent are social class differences reflected in language? And so on. There are a lot of questions. Now we will look at what is linguist. Who is called a linguist? One who studies linguistics systematically, that person is called a linguist. It is not speaking a language that makes someone a linguist, but being able to speak about a language and knowing about the principles on which language are built. So a linguist is one who studies language objectively, observes it scientifically, records facts about language and derives general principles from them. A linguist tries to observe languages and describe them accurately, finds generalizations within what has been described. Finally, he draws conclusions about the general nature of human languages. Linguistics investigates how the language is constructed, how it varies through space, how it changes through time, how it is related to other languages, and how it is used. Now we will look at the term polyglot. A person who knows several languages is called a polyglot. So what is the difference between a linguist and a polyglot? Or what is the relation between them? A linguist is not necessarily a polyglot, and a polyglot may not be a linguist. I have one question. Is linguistics a science? Can we consider linguistics as a science? Well, as far as my view is concerned, I would like to say that linguistics may be considered as a science. Like any other branch of science, it has a well-defined subject matter called language. The approach as well as methodology of linguistics is scientific. It studies language as a universal and recognizable part of human behavior. Like a scientist, the linguist observes his data. Methods of observation, various instruments like oscillograph, sound spectrograph, pitch meter, etc. are used. A linguist has his language laboratory too. Like a scientist, he analyzes the features of language and categorizes them according to their similarities and differences. Now we shall move on to the main branches of linguistics. So generally we can say that the branches like phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. So basically the field of linguistics is subdivided into three central branches. The branch that deals with sound, the branch that deals with structure. Next, third one is the branch that deals with meaning. So let's start with the branch that deals with sound. It is subdivided into two core areas, that is phonetics and phonology. Then we shall move on to the second branch, that is deals with structure. It is subdivided into two core areas. That areas are morphology and syntax. And the third and the last branch that deals with meaning. So that branch is subdivided into two core areas, that is semantics and pragmatics. So what are the applied branches of linguistics? When linguistics is related with sociology, then we can say that the study is a sociolinguistic study. When linguistics is connected with anthropology, then we can say that that discipline may be called as anthropological linguistics. So likewise, we have sociolinguistics, psycholinguistics, neurolinguistics, forensic linguistics, cognitive linguistics, computational linguistics, clinical linguistics, eco-linguistics, theolinguistics, aerial linguistics, biolinguistics, anthropological linguistics, etc. So there are a lot of branches. So now we shall move on to the next branch, that is phonetics. What is phonetics? So phonetics is a branch of linguistics which deals with the study of speech sounds. The word phonetics is derived from the Greek word phontikos, which means uttering sounds. In phonetics, we study articulation, transmission, and reception of speech sounds. Phonetics can be classified into three other branches. First branch is articulatory phonetics, second branch is acoustic phonetics, third branch is auditory phonetics. So what is articulatory phonetics? The field of articulatory phonetics is a subfield of phonetics, which studies the way in which speech sounds are made or articulated by the vocal organs. In studying articulation, phoneticians attempt to document how humans produce speech sounds, such as vowels and consonants. That is, articulatory phoneticians are interested in how the different structures of the vocal tract, called the articulators, for example, tongue, lip, jaw, palate, teeth, etc., interact to create the specific sounds. Then we shall move on to acoustic phonetics. What is acoustic phonetics? Acoustic phonetics is the branch of phonetics which deals with the study of physical properties of speech sounds. What is physical properties of speech sounds? For example, like frequency, amplitude, etc. So, all these things as transmitted between mouth and ear according to the principles of acoustics. Acoustic phonetics investigates properties like the mean squared amplitude of a waveframe, its duration, its fundamental frequency or other properties of its frequency spectrum, and the relationship of these properties to other branches of phonetics, and to abstract linguistic concepts like phones, phrases, or utterances. Now we will look at what is auditory phonetics. So auditory phonetics is the branch of phonetics which studies the perpetual response to speech sounds as mediated by ear, auditory nerves, and brain. It is concerned with the hearing acquisition and comprehension of phonetic sounds of words of a language. As articulatory phonetics explores the methods of sound production, auditory phonetics explores the methods of reception, that is the ear to the brain and those processes. Then we shall move on to next topic, that is phonology. So phonology is a branch of linguistics which deals with the study of system and patterning of speech sounds. That is a study of the organization of the units of the sounds of speech into syllables and other larger units. That is, the phonology of a language is a description of the systems and patterning of sounds that occur in that language. Phonology is divided into two separate studies, phonetics and phonemics. That is, phonetics deals with the sound change and phonemic deals with the meaning change. Phonemics studies how the sounds are used. It analyzes the way sounds are arranged in languages and helps you to hear what sounds are important in a language. Next we have to study what is phoneme. So what do you mean by the term phoneme? A phoneme may be defined as the minimal, smallest, distinctive sound unit of a language. So a phoneme may be defined as the minimal, distinctive sound unit of a language. Minimal means smallest, distinctive means contrastive. Every language has a definite number of distinctive sound units. These sound units constitute the phonemes of that language. So 44 sounds in English are phonemes. For example, sounds like k, p, the, the are phonemes. So minimal in the sense that very small, that is, it cannot be subdivided. And contrastive in the sense that it is contrast with one another. That is, the sound p is contrasting with the. Likewise, distinctive in the sense that each one is having a distinctive character. That is, if we substitute one sound with another, it causes a change in meaning. So we can check some examples for that. The word bat and cat. So this is the modern IPA and this is the traditional IPA. IPA means International Phonetic Alphabet by International Phonetic Association. And this is the phonetic expression of cat. Here the initial sounds are b and k. Medial sounds are a. Final sounds are ta. So phonemics, here the difference only in the initial sounds. Phonemic symbols are enclosed with slant lines. Must be remember that phonemes refer to sounds and never to spelling. So English RP has a system of 44 phonemes, and in Hindi has 46 phonemes, and Malayalam has 52 phonemes. Now we shall move on to minimal pairs. What do you mean by the term minimal pairs? A minimal pair is a set of two words which differ from each other in one sound. For example, beat and seat. Beat and seat constitute a minimal pair in English as they differ from each other in the initial consonant sounds. Likewise, bat and beat. Here, minimal pair in the medial vowel. Then the another example, safe and safe. Here, minimal pair with a difference in their final sounds. So these are the examples of examples for minimal pair. Then next time we have to study what is phone. A phone, a term used in phonetics. Phone is defined as the smallest perceptible discrete segments of sound in a stream of speech. Phone is the abstract unit and which is the physical realization of phonemes. That is the point. Phone is the physical realization of phonemes. So phones are represented with brackets, square brackets. For example, like that, ba, ka, etc. Next term is allophones. What is allophones? The phonetic variants of a phonemes are referred to as allophones. Allophones are the phonetic variants of a phonemes. That is, allophones are the variants of the same phoneme. For example, look at the words top and stop. Here, this is the IPA expressions. In the word top, the is pronounced with a puff of air and it is called aspirated sounds, denoted by the, and in upper portion H in English alphabet. So this is called aspirated sound. In the word stop, the is pronounced with no puff of air and it is called unaspirated sound, denoted by the. So no two realization of the phonemes are the same. So the and the are allophones of the phoneme the. So that's all for today. We will discuss the remaining portion in the next class. Thank you.